back against House Democrats' accusations that big oil is gouging Americans with high fuel prices. The CEO of a Colorado-based drilling services company is calling hearings on Capitol Hill a ridiculous show trial. Listen.
If the administration really wanted to get serious about being a tailwind and helping increase the supply so we can get the price down, I think they'd be meeting with the oil company CEOs and focusing on how we can increase production together with policy. And instead, I think it's a show trial where they're pointing fingers and trying to grandstand to make points.
The company leaders went on to call out President Biden's restrictive energy policies and supply chain shortages, slowing down the industry. Todd.
The whistleblower who distributed Hunter Biden's laptop to Congress fleeing the U.S. for Switzerland. He says he's afraid of possible retaliation from the Biden White House. But when asked about the Hunter Biden scandal directly, the administration is staying silent.
And support the appointment of a special counsel.
I'd point to the Department of Justice for any additional steps they would take. They would make those decisions independently.
We don't comment about pending investigations, so that's as best I can give you on that.
Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, joins us now. Tom, let's start with the whistleblower. Should he be that concerned for his safety?
Well, he should be nervous about retaliation from this administration and generally the left here. Look, they impeached Trump after he asked questions about Hunter Biden. They're going after Project Veritas and James O'Keefe because he had information tied to one of Biden's family members. So he should be nervous. Whether him being in Switzerland would protect him from retaliation, I would be skeptical of. But when you have evidence of criminal activity by high-level government officials, and there's this record of people who blow the whistle being targeted as a result of blowing the whistle, including, as I say, President Trump, I don't blame him for being nervous and cautious.
Tom, you heard Peter Doocy ask about a special counsel. Why hasn't a special counsel been appointed to investigate this yet?
It's a massive corruption scandal that one hasn't been appointed. One should have been appointed, in my view, during the Trump administration. And certainly the Justice Department under President Biden has a irredeemable conflict of interest that the regulations require be dealt with through a special counsel. That's why a special counsel was, supposedly that's why a special counsel was appointed to target Trump, and there was really nothing to really require one because there was no serious evidence Trump had done anything wrong. In this case, the president's son, everyone acknowledges, is under criminal investigation, and as you've been reporting and the evidence shows, Joe Biden is up to his neck in this issue. In the least, he's a witness. Arguably, he should be a target. Either way, a special counsel is required, and the fact that one hasn't been appointed ought to be concerning to any American who wants the law fairly administered by the Justice Department with respect to the Biden family scandal.
As for those former intel officers who said the laptop was Russian disinformation, House GOP going after them, trying to get these individuals to talk, maybe have to subpoena them. We will see. At worst, here's what they say. The public statement was a deliberate and coordinated effort to mislead the American people about information relevant to the 2020 presidential election. Tom, what should happen to those intel officers?
Well, you know, if they go back into government, they should be questioned about their qualifications to enter back into government. Should they be given another position of public trust, given their obvious willingness to trade on their prior positions of public trust to engage in political propaganda on behalf of a political candidate by suggesting that there was a foreign government involved in our election politics when there was no evidence of that?
How likely is Hunter to be indicted, and what happens to Joe?
I think there's a significant chance that Hunter will be indicted. I think a lot of the news reports have been designed to prepare the public for that while trying to protect Joe Biden. I don't think the Justice Department's going to target Joe Biden or prosecute him under these current circumstances. But in the least, there's enough to begin an impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden so the Justice Department, if he's removed from office, can prosecute him.
Tom, if and when the full story is exposed, could this be the greatest political scandal in U.S. history?
Well, it's part of the greatest political scandal in U.S. history, because I'm convinced the targeting of Trump and the spying on of Trump to protect Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, the impeachment of Trump, all of those abuses are part of this. And, of course, one of the big issues in terms of targeting Trump was to distract people from the corruption that was readily apparent to pretty much anyone who was paying attention, was that Joe Biden's family was out there trading on his public office with his help for big cash from foreign governments.
Yet until a few weeks ago, this was not a story for the mainstream media. Tom Fitton, we appreciate your time and insight as always. Thank you, sir. Carly.
You're welcome.
A new California bill would provide a path for non-citizens to become police officers. The bill would allow migrants with a green card or other legal visa to join the force. However, the proposal does not specify if illegal immigrants are prohibited from also trying to become a cop. Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez is giving up his seat to run for mayor. He joined Tucker Carlson last night, vowing to tackle the lawlessness he says Mayor Lori Lightfoot has failed to address.
We have done polls that show that the general population, the voters of the city of Chicago, have made a decision on whether or not she deserves a second term, and overwhelmingly that answer is no. People in Chicago want to feel safe.
Murders, robberies, and motor vehicle thefts are all up double digits since Mayor Lightfoot was elected back in 2019. Alderman Lopez is the first candidate to enter the race ahead of next February's election.
Interesting.
About that, he comes on Fox a lot, so
yes,
this does not surprise me.
Does not.
We wish him the best of luck. Democrats can't rely on their agenda to sway voters this November, so instead they're responding to name-calling.
That is the Republican Party that we see today. It is a party built on fraud, fear, and fascism, and they don't deserve to be in power.
That right there is the head of the DNC, and take a look at your screen. Look who co-signed that. Jimmy Fallon here with his take next.